What's going on, everybody? We have the patch notes for patch 12.13. We got a pretty sizable change here. So, starting off with some buffs, we have Astral and Warrior. We have Cluttered Mind, Hallucinate, March of Progress. Dude, I am so excited for March of Progress updates because it's one of my favorite leveling augments and it's just pretty weak right now. Ricochet's being buffed, Nami, Lilia, Hecarim, Pyke, Shyvana, Soraka, and Zoe. So, tons of mage buffs here. They're also adjusting Ragewing, Trainer, Shimmer Scale, Blue Battery, and Deja. Deja's in need of a fix because the last change just wasn't quite cutting it. They had to hotfix it, so hopefully we can get a good champ there. Nerfs to Assassins, Mirage, Dawnbringer's Determination, that's the one that heals them in the middle of the fight, Revel, and Volibear. Interesting that they nerfed Volibear. He was strong at the start, but then he kind of waned off in play, but I think in China he's pretty popular. Lastly, we have a rework to Aurelian Soul, and that is a summary of the changes. Just FYI, guys, before we do the system changes, another big change that's coming is that Riot is giving out double bonus RP and TFT coins starting on July 14th, and I have a creator code for that, so if you did plan on spending some money on some RP or some TFT coins, I'll have a link out starting on July 14th, which is in 2 days. Just wanted to let you guys know, but let's get back into the patch notes. System changes the game time. In order to reduce the total game time slightly, the following changes have been made. Stage 2-1, 3-2, and 4-2, all augment rounds have been shortened by 10 seconds. Stage 4-7, shortened by 10 seconds, and 5-1, also by 10 seconds. So, some people have said that game time is a lot longer than normal, but I think Mortdog tweeted back at that person saying it really hasn't changed much at all. However, I do know that after the first two patches, they normally reduce the round times by a little bit, so they're just doing that here, and that's just to kind of get used to the game. And now that we are used to it, maybe these rounds could be a little shorter. So I'm in full agreement with stage 4-7 and 5-1. Those are really long rounds because they're back to back, but the augment rounds, sometimes I really do use the whole turn to think, and maybe we just won't have that anymore. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, we'll have to see. So player damage, 99.99% of games end before stage 8. This changes for that 0.01%, so oh my god. Player damage in stage 8 has been increased to 150 in standard and double up, so you will die if you reach stage 8. The biggest thing this is going to have an effect on is if you ever have a Soraka 3, because I believe she heals like 60 health per round, so maybe you could actually die even with a Soraka 3. Large changes. Large like the time saved climbing to Challenger with our game time cuts. Alright, traits. Okay, let's check it out. Assassin. So Assassin critical strike damage is being changed from 15% to 5%. Okay, pretty big change. 30 to 25 and 50 to 45. So they're making you really invest in Assassin to get the bonus critical strike damage. I think the critical strike chance is staying the same, but they don't want two Assassin teams. So right now, all the comps that are like Talon plus Kiana or Talon plus Pyke plus whoever is your primary carry, because Talon's like a secondary carry, all those comps are being nerfed right now. I kind of like that because I want Talon to be the primary carry. There hasn't been a team yet where Talon is like the main guy and it's in like S tier. Dedicated Talon comps have kind of been left in the dust recently. Astral. Players must field Astral units before they can receive Astral shops and orbs. A new refresh button with a counter helps you track your progress towards Astral shops, and it also reflects the quality of your Astral orbs. I saw the indicator on PBE, it's pretty nice. The ability power is also being buffed, 5 to 10, 30 to 40, 70 to 80, and Astral Emblem has been removed. There was like a strat people use where you put an Astral Emblem on like a really good unit, and then you just roll down, get the Astral shops, and buy that unit, 3-star it, and kind of snowball the game, so that is being removed. Cannoneer, attack damage, and explosion damage, this is being changed across the board. So in the beginning it's worse, but later on it's better. So again, making you really invest into those traits. This helps more of the vertical comps rather than the horizontal comps. Mirage, Dawnbringer's Determination, max health and heal percentage, 40, 70, 70, and 125, healing twice, is being changed from 40, 65, 65, and 110 for the heals twice. So slight changes in the late Dawnbringer, but the early Dawnbringer staying the same. Ragewing attack speed. Okay. This one's being buffed at 6 and 9 Ragewing. Omnivamp being buffed at 3 and 9 Ragewing. So Ragewing's a little weird. Zaya's obviously strong, so we'll have to see if they made any changes to her or anything to Swift Shot to kind of adjust for that. Revel firework damage is being nerfed across the board. So Corky comps, Tom Kench comps, gonna take a small hit there. It shouldn't be that major, but it is a hit nonetheless. And then Shimmer Scale items. So Crown of Champions, 200 to 100, Determined Investor, HP chopped in half, Diamond Hands chopped by a third, Diamond Hands immunity chopped in half, Draven's Axe. This is having the attack damage and attack speed chopped in half. So they're chopping off a lot of stats on most of the items here. Do they do any other changes? Interesting. So again, I've heard Shimmer Scale is really good in China. Have not seen it that much on North America myself. But I do know that one goal from this change is trying to make all the Shimmer Scale items like have a purpose in the game, because right now some are just much better than others. So I hope that that gets fixed with these nerfs. Obviously, like they're probably all going to be a little worse, except for Needlessly Big Gem. Yeah, and then the AP one got buffed as well. I really do hope that each item is like actually in line with like at least similar power levels, because they weren't before. Tempest attack speed is being nerfed early and buffed later on, so again making you really invest in that trait. The thing about Tempest is that the stun is the most useful part about it, because none of the Tempest units actually use attack speed that well. Like sure, everyone likes attack speed, but I wouldn't say it's like the primary trait of most of the Tempest champs, except for maybe Ezreal. Aoshin likes it for mana regen, but like if it gave mana regen, that would that'd be a lot better, if you know what I mean. So interesting way to buff it. We'll have to see how it plays out. Trainer Namzi base health being nerfed a little bit. Fireball damage being buffed. Okay, that's cool. I'm all for Namzi. Namzi's one of my favorite champions, or not champions, but like units in the game. And Fireball now causes units to suffer 50% reduced healing for the duration of the burn. So this is a great change, because a lot of burn damage, it almost always reduces healing, and that wasn't the case with Namzi. In fact, a person I played double up with, he's not like that serious of a player. He's good. He was good in some previous sets, but he's just playing TFT casually now. He just assumed Namzi reduced healing, and I was like, no dude, it doesn't. Take the Sunfire board. So just an interesting fact there. So in terms of clarity, maybe this could have been helped on, so that's why they changed this. Warrior increased damage on enhanced attack being buffed up at the later levels, so that's good. Haha, 420, very funny number. Units tier 1, Nidalee Primal Surge bonus being nerfed a bit. Third attack damage being nerfed a bit as well. So Nidalee reroll, probably one of my favorite comps of the set, just because it's simple to do and it's very consistent. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like it because it's kind of like a top 4 comp. It's hard to win with it, but I don't mind getting top 4s. Lilia health being buffed, attack damage nerfed, attack speed buff. The center bonus damage is also, whoa, that's a pretty sizable buff at 1 star. Decent at 2 star, and then like same at 3 star. I'm very surprised we haven't seen reroll Lilia yet. I want to see it come whipped out with like Cavalier Mages or something like that. That'd be fun to watch. Nami, okay, let's see. Mana is being, whoa, buffed by a lot. So first cast is going to be slower because it takes 50 mana instead of 40 mana, but every subsequent cast is going to be a lot better. So we'll have to see what happens there. Tristana attack speed, slight nerf. Tristana was a really good unit. It's probably like one of the best early game carries, actually, because it gives you trainer. She's a great item holder for pretty much everything, and she's just so stable once you get her to 2 star. Like even in stage 4, I see Tristana 2 like beating out some of the other good carries that are typically found in stage 4. For tier 3 units, we have Swain health nerf and attack speed nerf. Varus, same thing with the attack speed nerf. And then Volibear Relentless Storm. Instead of the Relentless Storm hitting enemies in a scaling way, it's going to be a flat 4. Relentless Storm damage per enemy is going to be reduced by quite a bit at 1 star. A little bit at 2 star, but buffed at 3 star. Total Storm damage is going to be reduced slightly at 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star. So what I'm guessing here is that they want to keep the 3 star power the same, but they want to nerf 2 star Volibear. So Volibear is a little weird, right? 2 star Volibear is actually really stable, more stable than it should be. So I actually agree with this change. A lot of times you want to reach level 8 with Volibear because you want to put in 8 units to get certain synergies. So you can't really re-roll him at level 7. So what people did was they rushed level 8 with a 2 star Volibear, and then just chilled there and then went level 9. They didn't really like re-roll for Volibear 3. So it's like kind of interesting there. But like, yeah, way too stable at 2 star. Let's see if they talk about it here. By removing some base damage, his DPS and survivability with the popular Bloodthirster build should recede. These changes also furthered the power jump between Volibear's 2 and 3-star power. Yeah, exactly what I was saying. Like 2-star Volibear, way too strong, but hopefully 3-star is like still at least around the same power, maybe a little less. Units tier 4, Corki attack speed reduced slightly. Deja, Wind Blast, Wave Damage. Wait a minute. You know what I just noticed, guys? In the graphic above, they did not include Sy'fen in the major nerfs, but I see Sy'fen here, so we'll read it right now. Deja, Wind Blast damage is being buffed a little bit, and then passive magic damage being nerfed, so they're changing where the power is. It's more in the wave damage and less in the passive damage, so less reliant on attack speed builds. Hecarim's getting a max mana buff. Shio Yu Jade form combo attack ratio is being nerfed, thank God, at 1 and 2-star. Pretty sizable nerf if you ask me. The stun duration is being nerfed by 0.25 seconds as well. And then Sy'fen, okay, man. Attack damage ratio, let's see. Okay, it's getting hit pretty hard. 225 and 235 down to 150, 150. Okay, that's respectable nerf. Props to Riot. Normally, I'd say they go too overboard on some nerfs, but I feel like this one is actually fair because Sy'fen was beyond broken. Xayah attack speed nerfed slightly. It's about time that happens because Xayah is way too good. And they buffed Rage Wing, as we talked about earlier. So, again, this was the change I was like kind of alluding to that I'd hope they'd make. So now onto tier 5. So Asol reworks. He now summons an unstable black hole underneath a random enemy. After 2 seconds, it implodes, dealing magic damage to all enemies in the area and increasing their damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds. Black holes generated after 20 seconds of combat are larger and deal 50% more damage. I believe I actually recommended this change in a couple of patches ago, or maybe during a meta snapshot. Like, have Asol scaling be based on time, not based on the amount he casts, so that he is not reliant on Mage Spatula. Mage Spatula should still be cool on Asol. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but it shouldn't be like what defines how to balance him. So his mana is being 40 out of 90, black hole damage 350, 475, 5000, and that 3-star he creates a cosmically large black hole. So I'm assuming that hits the whole map. I'm excited to try some Asol. Is he going to be more in an Evoker build? Is he going to be an Astral build? Is he going to be in a Mage build? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. They did buff Astral, so we'll have to look out for that. Pyke being buffed by 100 health. I actually think Pyke is one of the more underrated carries at tier 5, but they did nerf to Assassin, so maybe that's why they gave him a compensation buff here. Shyvana mana buff, 45 out of 75 is being down to 30 out of 60. Armor and magic resist is being lowered to compensate for that buff. And Flame Breath, max health percent damage burn is being changed from 45, 60, 300% to 50, 66, and 500%. Overall, that's very powerful for Shyvana. I'm looking forward to some of the nuke Shyvana builds. You go like AP on her, and then she just burns a ton of max health percent burn damage. It's really fun to do. Definitely try some AP Shyvana if you have not already. Of course, tank is probably fine too. Soraka Starfall heal per star being buffed. Interesting. I always thought Soraka was very highly valued by a lot of the good players. So interesting that they buffed Soraka. The Soraka's like very awkward, right? She alone is a very good unit, but she doesn't have any synergies with pretty much anything. She only has Jade, but not many people use Jade. So she's in that kind of weird spot, if you know what I mean. Zoe mana buff, 60 out of 120, being changed to 50 out of 100. Zoe, I think, is the best support unit in the game right now, especially with mages. We'll have to see if this allows her to cast more. Obviously it will, but how much will that affect fights? We'll have to see. Lots of mage buffs, though. Definitely looking forward to playing some AP. So items, let's see what they're changing. Bramble Vest total armor being buffed by 20. Rose Thorn, same thing, up to 30. Jeweled Gauntlet, total ability power 20 to 40. Critical strike damage 30% to 10%. So they're making the item a little more consistent, a little less reliant on the critical strikes. I guess that's a good change. Similar change for the Radiant version. And then Ornn item, Infinity Force, remove 30% crit chance. Alright, Infinity Force was so broken. You just look at the stats, you compare it to every other Ornn item, and it's just so good. So yeah, nerfing it by removing crit chance, I feel like that is fair. It was definitely one of the best items, if not the best. Muramana, arguably the worst item. Mana granted after cast is being buffed from 150 over 4 seconds to 200 over 5 seconds. What I wish it did is that, man, I wish I remembered now, but there's some champions that want mana, but really can't use mirror mana because they get mana locked or something like that. So as long as they fix that as well, I feel like it should be fine. Ornn item, Obsidian Cleaver, attack damage being nerfed a little bit. Rocket Propelled Fist, slight nerf there. Rocket Propelled Fist was one of the more OP items as well. It just gives so much health, and the effect is pretty decent too. Augments, especially since people don't play around this until they like face you the first time, because no one's looking out for that. Augment's Best Friend's attack speed bonus being nerfed across the board by 5. And yeah, Best Friend's probably one of the best augments in the game. Blue Battery now sets the unit's mana to 20 after casting instead of granting 20 mana after casting. I don't like that. So they did this change to blue buff where they like don't let blue buff stack mana, so they don't get like 40 mana after casting. But I feel like having that fantasy in an augment, that should be allowed, right? That should be fair. Yeah, you can't use them together now, man. Because blue buff already has so few users this set. Man, uh, I really dislike this. I like having that fantasy. I remember double blue buff Sona back in the day or something like that, and it was just insane. And or like double blue buff for other things worked really well too. And this was like the only time in the world where you could kind of relive that, but then they just remove it. I don't know. Cluttered Mind XP, if your bench is full, is being buffed from 3 to 4 XP. Cybernetic Implant being nerfed a tiny bit. Yeah, that was the Cybernetic Implants is by far the best cybernetic one. Double Trouble, well, not by far, but it is the best one before. Double Trouble, Armor and Magic Resist. Double Trouble, Armor, Magic Resist, and Attack Damage and Ability Power is being nerfed. Ooh, interesting. Double Trouble is probably the most fun augment. They probably had it really strong in the beginning to get people to use it. So now that people realize it's good, they're going to nerf it a bit. Hallucination, damage reduction buff duration is being changed from 5 to 6. And then March of Progress, yay, we get one more XP. So one hidden nerf of March of Progress before was that you used to get March of Progress on stage 1-4 instead of 2-1. So it was already weaker this set than last set. So you need something to compensate for it. Hopefully this is good enough. It does sound really good. I do want to try out this augment like tomorrow if I could. Ricochet Cannoneer will now prefer to bounce to further targets rather than nearby ones. That's pretty good. Small changes. Okay, let's go through these. Evoker mana being buffed a little bit in the towards the end. So 4 and 6 Evoker. 6 Evoker is almost impossible to hit. I've been trying to get it for years now and just never happened, but it is buffed. Guild added a new 7 guild trait, 250% guild bonus. I've never been that much guild, but I would like to try that. Shapeshifter bonus, max health on transformation. Slight nerf early on, and slight buff later on. So 6 Shapeshifter should be good. Maybe you could still do Nidalee. They've been nerfing Nidalee a lot, very slightly. I don't know. It's really weird because it's one of those builds where if she doesn't stabilize you in the mid game, she's completely useless. But if she does, then it's like free top 4 every time. It's kind of hard to balance Nidalee. Vlad, mana buff. Okay, that's good. Brains and Brahms. Okay, his tooltip now specifies that he raises his shield towards the largest group of enemies. Nico's inherent glamour shield is being buffed at 3-star. So I have heard from Mort Dog that Nico was the worst performing 3-star forecast. So hopefully this helps out because that is a lot of damage. Talon nerfed. Yeah, Talon, he's just too good of a secondary carry, right? But I wish there were some builds where he's the primary carry and he is like all you need to rely on. And then you use like Pike as a support or something like that. Bard, Tempered Fate stun duration is being nerfed a little bit early on. Yeah, that's fair. Bard 1-star, yeah. Anyone who like upgrades Bard from 1-star to 2-star can tell you that there is no difference between those two champions. Bard at 1-star, I don't care that it goes from 1.5 to 2 seconds. If he casts, your team's going to do well in the fight. It doesn't matter if it's a 1.5-second stun or 2-second. Like, it's such a minor upgrade for like getting a legendary 2-star that, yeah, Bard 1-star, way too strong. Yasuo, attack damage 90 to 85. Yasuo will now reliably execute the last enemy alive even if they have gigantic health pools. I have heard that Yasuo does not kill the last enemy if they have over 10,000 health because he does 10,000 true damage. So now they're fixing that. He will kill the last enemy alive even if they are humongous. Items, stacks on stacks. Watch the, okay, whatever. Archangels and Radiant Earth Archangel Staff now have a stack counter. Oh, that's interesting. Gwinsu's same thing, and Zizrat Portal now works more reliably against assassins. Interesting. So they buffed ZZ Rod to properly work against the thing it's supposed to counter, but then they also nerfed assassins. I am scared for assassins, so I don't think they're going to be that good. Because in previous metas, whenever assassins went out of control, everyone just started building ZZ Rod portals and then they became manageable. So now that they're nerfing them and buffing ZZ Rod to properly work again, yeah, it's tough to say what will happen. Augments, combat training, starting attack damage being buffed. Yeah, this one's really weird to use. It's great on Italy, but like I can't really think of too many other champions. Double Trouble now grants a 2-star copy of units you have 3-star before acquiring the augment. That's a good buff there. Living Forge can no longer grant or an artifacts that it already granted you. Never ran into that. Makeshift Armor 3 is being changed from 60 to 65. That's nice. I always like Makeshift, but it's just weird to use sometimes. Modes. Okay, I don't care about double up. I don't care about hyper roll. Regional transfers. If you transfer your account out of a region and back to that region within 2 weeks, your account's rank state upon returning to the original one will be restored to what it was when you left. And then now the bug fixes. Oh, not that many. Shoot from the hip. Varus arrows now visually fire out of his bow instead of slightly below it. Legend units can no longer fail to gain their stat bonuses from a sacrifice unit if they're affected by Zephyr. Legend sacrifice now occurs before Zephyr triggers, so Zephyr can't hit a unit that's then immediately sacrificed, making it appear that Zephyr hit nothing. So this was so stupid. I was playing Volibear, right, with Legend, and then they Zephyr my Volibear. I also had Eye of the Storm, which is the one that buffs the unit in the center of the map, so I couldn't really move it, right? And then they Zephyred him, which I thought was fine. I'm like, it's okay. He just comes back and goes ham later, right? But Legend units failed to gain their stat bonus from a sacrifice unit. So I just sacked a unit and didn't get the buff. So then my Volibear just died as soon as he came out of Zephyr. I was so tilted. Tom Kench's ability damage is now correctly blocked by Banshee's Claw. Shapeshifter's Soul now correctly states that it grants a Sunfire Cape, not a Hand of Justice. Fix an issue that allowed Prep 1 to be offered on 4-2. Man, that'd be awful. Ashe now casts their spells at targets rather than the nearest target. So a lot of the augment choices, I feel like a lot of them are dead choices right now. I've had augment choices where they both offer me cybernetic or meditation or makeshift armor, like something of those two, and those two are complete opposites, right? And it's like in stage 3 or stage 4. It's not like the first choice. So I already have my team out, and like they're giving me two opposite choices. So no matter what, you have one dead choice whenever that happens. I also have things like when I have Jade, I get Exiles, which is really hard to use, or like Best Friends. You can't really use Best Friends with Jade. So like there's still a lot of issues that I hope get fixed with the augment choices. I should try to start screen capping every time I get pissed about them because like it gets ridiculous sometimes. Ashe now casts their spells at their attack targets rather than their nearest targets. Ghost armies that have augments with multiple tiers will now always work as intended. Ghosts are always weaker. I don't know if that's like how it's supposed to be because there are other ways they are weaker. For some reason, I always beat ghost armies. Well, not always, but most of the time, and like always lose to the real guy. And I think it is fair that they are weaker, but by how much is the question. Fix an issue causing shimmer scale items to pop off in combat in specific situations, and who is the hottest shot? Hot shot will now attribute its burn damage more accurately when multiple cannoneer cannon shots hit the same target. Only affects the damage recap, no actual change to its damage. Alright, so all in all, like, decently sized patch. I'm most excited for mages personally. That's gonna be really fun. Maybe there's some Lilia reroll build. I doubt it, but maybe. Assassin's getting like minor nerf. Volibear, we'll have to see. Like, apparently, like, he wasn't that dominant in NA from what I've seen, but in China, I've heard that he's good and Shimmer Scale's good there. Zoe, I'm looking forward to. Like, yeah, pretty much the mages. Shyvana, of course. Shyvana's one of my favorite champions in League of Legends. And finally, like, I'm surprised they didn't add Sy'fen to the nerf picture because that is just like silly to not do. He got a major nerf and he was very oppressive in the last patch. Same with Shio. But overall, like, I actually think this is one of the times where I agreed with like most of the changes. I'm very surprised. Round shortening, yeah, I guess it's fine. It saves me a lot of time in the long run, right? But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget, July 14th is when you can start buying RP and TFT coins with my creator code. More on that later and my thoughts on that on the 14th when it comes out. And I'll give the link then. I can't give it out yet. But maybe on the 14th, I'll put it down in a pinned comment here when they allow me to. Of course, I may benefit if you buy through that link because it is an affiliate code, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite comps are and all that good stuff for this next patch. And hopefully I'll be able to get in a meta snapshot on Friday. We'll have to see. Maybe I have time to do it, maybe I don't. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. But that is all for me today. I will see you all later.